Hello, BAME farm fans. Beanhead must mean it's time for beans. Yeah, we got that little bit of corn so we can feed the animals, keep the deer hunters happy yesterday. And I'm gonna quick show off that we replaced that bearing before we got started. We replaced this belt for the fan, because if we look at the front end, come around the elevators here, it comes down and there's the fan. We also replaced this belt because somehow this one had jumped grooves and then shredded this belt, so we replaced them both. Wasn't too bad. So that's done. We can go ahead and close the side here. And I guess start it up and put the bean head on. It's always be fun to see how quickly the header height control works or doesn't. Well, that's always fun. There's going to be a little bit of corn in our beans. You know, you think it would grab, but apparently there's some clearance. It'll all feed. It'll be fine. That is a piece of deer antler. Wonder how that got wedged in there. Well, at least it didn't go on a tire. That could have been really bad. I thought it was just like a chunk of corn stalk. I'm like, that's one hard chunk of corn stalk stuck there. It's like King Arthur. Well, even the angle of it, how did it get stuck facing?
Maybe a tire antler came in and as it
that would have had
rotated on down to be fed in it.
Well, unless I used the reverser for something and it was like partially in and got jammed in. I guess this thing will eat deer and spit them out, at least the antlers. Ha ha ha. Yeah, put that someplace special. Yeah, I think you'll sit on it later. So, quick take a look at the grease circs. There's not many. There's 2 Wapple boxes on this head and there's one at each end of the sickle. Grease circ for the reel pivot, grease circ for the reel, actually bushing, drive shaft, drive shaft, drive shaft, drive shaft. It's exactly almost a mirror image. Just a quick rock around because you really want to see Brennan pumping a grease gun. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to grease on this.
A little bit of smoke there.
Should only go together one way. Yeah, that's...
I guess it really doesn't matter.
Well, because you can't switch those two, because they're opposites. Like, you can't switch this plug with that plug, you know what I mean? Unless you're just plugging it into itself. Yeah. Which is mildly problematic. What? There you go. Oh, that slid in nicely. Okay, let's see if this works again. We just put some grease on the pins. The header height went up and down, but it didn't necessarily twist the greatest. So go test it again. We'll see how long the camera works. It cut out at like the perfect key moment, and I was picking up the head. For a while, we were doing pretty good. But always like when there's key moments, the camera decides to cut out. So we lift up. Header height is on. So all we have to do is hit the down. I'll probably make the head real crooked first. Now we flip the down. It goes down on its own. There. lift it up again, and we'll tilt it real crooked the other way. That's all the way. I guess we're sitting pretty funny on the land as we are now. Okay, there. Takes a lot of figuring out back and forth between twist and lift. It is a little bouncy. I don't know if I need to look, and I say this every year and I just haven't felt like actually doing it, is taking the boxes apart that control the functions. Well, we might as well do the good old riding the combine, watching beans. These, you know, the beans at home are Dad's beans. I made the first outside loop and set them loose just after I put the head on. The straw chopper pattern is weak and I hate it anyway, so if anybody wants to trade for a spinner, not an aftermarket one, like the factory spinner setup, that would be great. How's the engine running? What? Exactly. Sounds good to me. Perfect. Isn't she loud? One thing we need to address there on the dust diverter for the radiator is there's a belt down inside where you tighten up, it's slipping, but it's still turning enough. See those bits of schmutz there? They keep getting knocked off and re-sucked in, but it means it's doing its job. Away, but so goes the dust cloud. We'll take a close look at the beans here. We'll pop a pod open. Oh, that is crispy and crunchy. Just have to look at it cross-eyed. Now we plant about a 3.8 bean, and they were pretty close on the frost. Got to do a good old moisture test. Well, that's dry. Whew. So remember how I was, we had a kind of slightly early frost. We see in the shadow or the sunlight. No, the shadow's better. Depends if the camera adjusts. See that one bean is a little green there on the right? Yeah, that one was a little close on the frost. I'd say it's mature enough. It's obviously dry. When I taste it, probably hard as a rock, like a pea, I'm guessing.
That one's still drying out.
Oh, you don't think it's that dry?
That one's still dry. It's still dry, but it was still drying out.
Nice.
Like right towards the inside, it was just a little wet. So.
Well, that'll help average out for the 9.6, and maybe there'll be 10 when I get to the elevator instead of, you know, single digits. But we're enjoying this lovely dryness before this hurricane Nicole comes through Florida and up the East Coast and manages to, you know, wreck my fall. And at least this way, the wind's kind of to Dad's front, and we won't get so dusty as we film. So here he comes. I don't know how fast he's going. I left the combine in second gear with the four-wheel drive on. We don't need the four-wheel drive, but it just seems to help having the extra place for the oil to go. Sometimes in two-wheel, when you're in the bottom of the range, it feels a little pulsy. So I'll just turn the four-wheel drive on, and it's like the old-time fire trucks. We'll test out the history buffs and mechanics here of old stuff. Well, we're unloading that corn from yesterday finally, and well, we got to get these empty. So Dad has someplace to go with the beans. The three we filled with corn are the best trailing wagons we got, and someone's gonna boo-hoo about me putting my fingers down there to grab these sticks that are on the outside of the shield. I'm not breaking the plane. Not like a little kid just jamming my fingers in there. Hopefully by now I have some sort of hand-eye coordination, I would hope. Hopefully. Ah, yes, we can see Dad waiting out there for a wagon. And the chicken's probably wondering where all the noise is. So we gotta come up here to our lovely used oil and give the auger its yearly oiling. Like a Dalmatian up here. I guess we're done. Here's the fun part of the oil jug. Whee! Well, the sunlight doesn't help, but Dad and Brennan are working on stopping up a slight leak we have, which is in a really dumb spot. How's our leak doing? Got a little better, but yeah, the leak is underneath that bracket for the frame underneath. So it's not like it's on an open part of the tube. Can't get in there with duct tape very well. Might require some creativity to make a special piece of metal to fit in there and then be strapped in place, maybe. Uh-oh. See how well it's flowing. Typically corn, it's still flowing okay. Typically corn under 18, no, even under 20 will flow out of the wagon pretty well. Another odd thing. So we've got kernels like this, and that's the black. See, I have to wonder how much is lost between the kernel on the left and the kernel on the right. And I know this is not an 18% moisture kernel. I got a little bit of replant corn in when I harvested, so I know this is much wetter, like 30%. You know, how much is lost? All I hear is harvest early, get it when it's wet, pay for dryer gas. Well, but if you're losing a little bit of kernel weight just because it's breaking off the ear different, it's really saving anything. Plus, you know, paying for the dryer gas. Just today's fun thought. The wagon is empty. What are we doing now?
Unloading the combine, that's always a good day.
Oh yeah, it means it's full. Is it a good day, Eva? Ah, she ain't paying attention. She might not be able to hear me either. Well, this won't quite be an unload on the go. Let's see, we gotta guess where to be, because it'll throw it out the end thanks to the little spout. And hopefully we're not too close. We're not too far, that's for sure. Yeah, we'll try that. Oh, it's full. I don't know if you can see from here, but if it's not running over, it's testing out the engineer that specifically measured and designed those. Well, I'm not too far away, that's for sure, and the wind is coming this way. Let's get out of the dust. Yes. Of course, this side we won't be able to see it so much anymore because the auger pulls from this side. But Dad was definitely testing out the engineering on the extensions. We can barely see it from the ground. Well, Dad still has a short bit to travel to us. I just put the camera in the refrigerator in case I was having overheating issues for why it was just cutting out on me. So back to that little bit about the four-wheel drive. Yeah, when you open up the system to run the rear wheels, it gives it that extra, say, space to alleviate pressure differences. cruising right on along. As you saw, we dumped off a good wagon load. Did hit extra full. Looks like he almost has the window covered. He just did a check of the yield monitor there. It's getting full. And we're getting to the short rows in this field. There's only maybe one more pass left, plus some really short rows. I'll say it's dusty. There's a good cloud coming out. Of course, these beans are leaning a little bit, so there's probably a lot more plant material like leaf and stuff that hasn't fallen through all the way to the ground. And they're so dusty to the point, Brennan was prodding and poking me, asking if we were having a fire, because look how dark that cloud is of dust. Hey, look, no mud on the ground. Yeah, we're not getting mud everywhere. Just some plant material. It's been a wonderfully dry fall so far. Summer ended a little damp for us, but it's been warm and dry and delightful. One full dump of the combine, and well, it's a good solid load, all right. We're testing our extensions. We see a few kernels of corn left behind, not too succotashy, I guess. I've seen some fields with a lot more corn volunteering in the beans before. That's just corn left in the system from shelling corn yesterday. He's about as short as I was too close before. It's very hard to judge this sometimes, like where you need to be. Of course, I guess these wagons are somewhat small targets now compared to, you know, the grain carts and stuff everybody uses, which are much larger, an easier target to hit. Oh, yeah, he's got a pile up there. You can see it peeking out over the top. I don't think I'll have to worry about running out of room on this one. But that's definitely a load. It's not a load unless it's, you know, about rolling off. Oh, yay, dust.